So, good evening, everybody. This is the Johny Webb Show. I'm here with Robbert Van Den Broeke in the Netherlands, in Breda. I'm here this evening to talk to Robbert about his recent video uploads of some of the sightings of beings and obviously a couple of UFO sightings in the last couple of weeks, and then some premonitions that he was getting concerning some possible attacks on Westminster in London. For those who are just joining us, you're on the Johny Webb Show. I'm live with Robbert Van Den Broeke, and we're here with him now live. Good evening, Robbert. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Johnny, that you invite me, and welcome everybody that watch now. Thank you that you watch this live stream.
Yeah, so Robbert, obviously this week you've uploaded a new video of the Bobos, you called them when you was a little boy. But today in the world they'd be known as black shadow people or shadow men. Do you want to tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, I was, I think, what I remember, I was 3 years old, and I was, my parents was bring me to my bed, and I was, expect that I was going to sleep. But then I was see black figures with no face, with no eyes, no mouth, no nose, coming through the wall, coming around my bed and standing around me. And I remember me that sometimes Boo-Boo, I was called them Boo-Boo, I was give themselves the name Boo-Boo. And sometimes I remember me that they was take me out my bed and bring me to some room, some space, sort of medical space, and there was sitting sometimes an other Boo-Boo in in a position how people sometimes sitting when they're meditating, with one leg crossed over the other leg, and then the Boo-Boo would bring me there, and I was sitting. He was holding me, the Boo-Boo, and then he was tickling. How you say it?
Tickling, yeah.
Tickling me in my stomach, and it was very strange. I really don't know why they was do this, and I was having this experience for a couple of years. I think from 1983 to maybe 1985. And I was telling my parents this. They still remember me that I was tell this as a little child. Also my sisters remember it, that I was tell this stories. And I was get a lot of anxiety from them. I was found it scary. They was give me the creeps. My parents was try to consolate me and try to give me some rest in my head, and was tell me that I was maybe see my own shadow on the wall. They was try to help me, but later when I was older, I was not see them more. But now in 2019, I was get very strong the message that they are still around me and that they are back, and that they was not visit me for years, and that they was also not visit the Earth for years now. They was visit the group of Boo-Boos that was visit me. There was for years not visitors more. And now in 2019, I'm so sorry, yesterday I was feel them very strong around me. I was smell also in my room a little bit this anesthesia, how you say this smell that you can smell also in the hospital when they put you to sleep, you do something around over your mouth. And I was smell this again around my house, and in my house, not around, but in my house, my living room. And then I was feel that I must make pictures, and I was make pictures, and I was not see them with my naked eyes, but I was see them on the camera, and I was making pictures, and you see very strong the typical Boo-Boo that I was see when I was a little child. And I was get the message now that that the Boo-Boos that was visit me, that they are extraterrestrials, that they live in another galaxy, that they have a lots of God consciousness, and that they have also are also part of the space politics, that they are medical, very developed very strong techniques. They can help lots of people with it, and they are now again coming back to help people through my mediumship, to give them healing, to give them more insight about the universe, about the God creation, about the planet where they live. But they are totally different as us. They smell different. They are much more intelligent than us, and absolutely not negative. I was experiencing them very negative when I was a child, but I was also afraid when I was a child, and I was go to a doctor. When I was visit the doctor or the dentist, I was also afraid as a child, of course, and I was also afraid when I was see these boo-boos, and they was bring me to some room, some sort of hospital room, and I was see sometimes very long needles and a sort of machines, and really very strange. And I know now that they are, that they have the spaceships and that they can travel to time and space. And the message that I will get also is that you have the real physical boo-boos, but they use sometimes also doll boo-boos. And it sounds strange, but they have, when they will do a space travel to other planets, sometimes they go in a sort of deep sleep. The spirit leaves the body then, and they have a sort of artificial brain. They make a sort of artificial brain in a sort of laser doll, and with computer in it, and the spirit is sucked in the doll, and the doll, is going in the spaceship and is travel to space. But sometimes it is possible that they get accidents, that some rock has hit them or something, and then the doll is going kaput. But the body, the real body from the real boo is still on the planet where they live, with a medical team around it, and then the spirit is sucked back to the body from the real boo, and the real body is not damaged then. Dus they use some doll bodies to travel to time and space. And
when you say doll bodies, Robert, you mean as in like a mannequin, like you see in shops where they dress them up, these kind of mannequins. And you're saying they're leather mannequins that are able to do almost like an avatar in a sense. The real entity stays where it is, and it's where you say it's from. And then it's the mannequin body, a bit like the bots we say with the Greys, they're like bots rather than the actual entity themselves.
Exactly. They use that, and it can look very scary as a child when you see it. Also for growing ups, it can look scary, but it's not scary. They use a sort of robot. They send it, and then they can travel safe.
Quite a few of these experiences, abductees, they say when they come face to face with these beings directly looking at them, that there's no empathy, there's a lack of emotion, and that's because most of the time it's a robot rather than a physical entity.
Yes, exactly. They use it many times, and it's safer to travel with it. But it sounds almost psychotic when I talk in this way. But this sort of techniques and this sort of developments exist. This is existing on other planets. It exists on other planets. And now people are experimenting also with artificial consciousness, make fake brains and that sort of things. But the humanity is not ready for it to do experiments with this sort of techniques. They will misuse it. People still like war. It's very dangerous. Some other planets, creatures from other planets, yeah, they can use it properly, but humanity, it gives me worries when they work with this sort of techniques. It's better that they wait with it, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, you say that obviously they've been away out of your life for some years now and they've come back into your life, but you said they had a message, but obviously we're not ready for that message. Can you just elaborate a bit more? What makes them come back to Earth time now rather than, you know, from before they've been away for so long, you say, almost like 30 years. So,
yeah.
And what's the message?
The message is that the bosses from this Earth now, dus the presidents, and they can make very, very big decisions that have a lot of influence on the whole society, on the total global planet. What I know is that these boo creatures are very active in China on this moment, and also a lot of extraterrestrials have a lot to do with China. I don't know why, but they have a lot to do with China and with the powerful people there in a positive way. It's not in a negative way, but in a very positive way. And also in Russia, but a lot on this moment with China. And there will come also some protection from China when America will make some decisions that are not good for the world. I know that, and everybody make mistakes. You know, where humans are, everybody make mistakes. But there is coming a time that, you know, that we need each other very, very strong, and the boo-boos will help, you know, the whole society to get more consciousness about that this planet, that we are really on this moment destroy the planet. We serious destroy now the planet, and people can pay now for it. You know, they must pay now for it.
You know, some of the other pictures of photos that you've taken of some of these extraterrestrials, there's been similar looking ones, tall whites, but with the big wraparound eyes. These look very similar to those creatures in the sense that they've got the very thin, tall necks, long necks, but obviously pitch black. And, you know, I was saying to you yesterday about, you know, you have light beings and dark beings. And obviously, like, the senses pick up different energies and light waves and stuff. But my gut feeling says that when something's dark like that, without any perception of eyes or features, it's always in the dark. It doesn't seem to be in the daylight, although there are photos, and you do see videos of, you know, shadow beings crossing over in that daytime photos. But the emphasis is they're very black. They emit and suck all the light into themselves. My gut feeling for me, Robert, says that they're quite dark. Not just the pun excuse, but, you know, they're not of the light. Whereas some of the beings that you photographed in the past, you know, they're aliens, they're ETs. They've got big black eyes, wrap around, you know, eyes around the head, and they look not menacing. You know, they look sort of approachable in a sense. Whereas these ones, they look very, very dark to me. And you said to me, don't be perceived by the darkness of it being bad. You know, do you want to elaborate on what you meant by that?
Yes, of course. We on this planet we have also different skin colors. We have white people, we have black people, we have brown people, we have yellow people. You have a lot of different people, and when somebody is black, we don't also not say, you know, that person is negative, you know, he's black, or when somebody is white, you know, that person is negative when he's white. It's the same with this sort of creatures. They are black, and but they are from the light. But they was having also learn processes on their own planet in history. They was get the same sort of pamper state like us. They was have also war. They was having also primitive drifts, but they now on a higher level. For a long time they are on a higher level there. For a long time. And it's not negative, but when I see them, it gives me, you know, it was give me also the creeps a little bit. You know, when I was a child, I was thinking, oh my goodness, it was give me a little bit the creeps. And what I mean with that people must pay now on this moment, it's not as a judgment. You know, it's not a judgment. It's people must now think very strong with each other, how they can make nature better, how they can protect this earth. When you see this earth from out space, it's a very little round ball. It's very little, and we can destroy it easily. You know, people can destroy very easily this planet, and you know, lots of forest is go away. The plastic problem is there. You know, we make also a lots of trash in space. We about the satellites. There is lots of metal from us in space. It's on this earth, in the ocean. There is a lots of plastic. We destroy ourselves now on this moment. And I don't feel the end of the planet. I feel that this earth will exist for a long time in the future. But I feel that we get serious climate problems, and that it is on this moment we're sitting in a magnetic change, and we're sitting also in a climate change, and we must think with each other, serious, how we can find solutions for it. And also these boo-boo creatures can help us also with it to give us solutions.
Of the boo-boo creatures or the shadow beings that you've had communication with, do they mention anything about sort of global warming? Is it a man-made thing? Is it because of pole shift or magnetic pole shifts? What's their sort of answer? You know, a lot of aliens always seem to tell humanity that we have to look after our planet, but it's generally the big fat cats, the corporations that are really causing all this trouble. You know, it's airlines, it's oil tankers and things like this that are the biggest spewers of CO2 or whatever it is, you know, carbon monoxide.
Yes, yes.
But as an independent individual, you know, if we pick up plastic or pick up our waste and put it in the right areas, we're doing our bit, you know, recycling and stuff. What more do they want from humanity in that sense, you know? But, you know, if I look at just my own question to that, when I look at oceans full of plastic, and it is pretty bad out there, but I wouldn't warrant needing an alien race to come and tell us about it. Is there something more to it than just, you know, global warming? What other messages do they sort of recall to you?
Yes, it's one of the messages that they have, of course, that you know, that we create a sort of dirty air, and that we need the forest and everything, but we know that also self, but we must do it. We must seriously realize it. We live in a sort of dream state that we think, you know, we still have a future, we can do what we want, but we must watch out. And this planet can get serious trouble. But the most important thing is that, and that's a very old message, but it's very important that people learn to accept each other and learn to listen to each other and accept each other and go for this unconditional love, and that they learn to meet God in themselves, but also in other people, in animals, in creatures, and still people living very strong for themselves. Very how you said it, individual, you know, very strong in the ego, you know, material things, you know, when they have a good life self, when somebody have a good life self, many people think then not have no interest in the problems from another person. Not everybody is in this way, but a lot of people live only for themselves, they don't watch in the air to the beautiful blue sky or watch in space. They're watching only to the ground, to the smartphone, and they communicate only in this way. And the heart contact from out the heart, you know, from out the heart energy, the soul energy. It's growing. It's growing back. It's how you say that. It's close himself more and more, and that's a real problem. The ability from the collective humanity to hear God is closing. The doors are closing more and more. People are going more and more for the kicks that they have, for the technique, for the smartphone, for everything. They don't listen to each other, but people have also not the ability more to hear God and to share God between each other. And some extraterrestrials, they have the possibility more to hear God than humans, but some extraterrestrials also not. Some extraterrestrials, they have the same ordinary drifts as humans. Extraterrestrials are not all the time angels.
No. But how do you, Robbert Van Den Broeke, yourself, distinguish what is of good and light and what is of darkness and what could be deceptive to us? So we could, because the saying is even an angel of light or Lucifer can appear as an angel of light, which is, we can be deceived. What stops you from being deceived for yourself? How do you know the difference, Robbert?
I can feel it, I know that there are trickster ghosts. They are spirits. They
tricksters.
Thank you. And that's they can tell you. They can act of they are your grandmother, and when they know that you are sensitive for it, and then when you're coming closer, the devil will take you. It's very painful. This sort of tricks are sometimes happening on some astral level. And they operate sometimes very well constructed. And when some mediums beginning to develop the psychic abilities, they meet many times trickster ghosts.
Well, deceptions, or in this case, tricksters as ghosts. But a lot of tricksters in mediumship, ghosts that play tricks, bang around, poltergeist, these things. A lot of them are child entities, but in not always cases. Going back to the bobos, you call them, what we call the shadow people. When you were a little boy, you mentioned that with your hands, rather than them having fingers, they would have their fists bunched up, and then they would do this on your belly.
Yes.
Like when we knead bread, we say, when we're kneading the bread. But this was a tickling motion for you. What was the reason for them doing that? Can you explain a bit more?
I really don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I was still a little baby boy. Just maybe they was try to make me laughing, but it was scares me sometimes, and I was knowing when they're coming, they will do this in my stomach, they was do it all the time, and they was doing sometimes here and sometimes very quick, like this, and I was hearing this noise, and it was very typical. Maybe it's some ritual that they do, when humans meet each other, they shake hands. And maybe this was for them something like this. Same like when you meet a cat, they do this, to your pants and to your legs. And maybe it's some instinct that they use for many years in the culture from the planet. I really don't know. But it's almost funny now. But on that moment, I was really afraid when I was going upstairs. My parents was going downstairs.
Here in England,
it was not all the time happening, but sometimes I was feeling, they were coming again, and yes, then they was coming again, and then I was trying to say something, but it was not. I cannot do that, and I cannot talk. I was not having the possibility to talk more. There was.
Paralyzingly.
Yeah, serious.
Now, in England, we have scientists and psychiatrists that say that this paralyzation state in sleep, but then they get these sort of beings that come and sit on their chest, you know, or old women that are down at the bottom of the feet, or, you know, the Hat Man. They've got no face or features, but they're black entities that are there. And they're getting confused and saying, oh, no, this isn't real. This is part of a hypnosis of the dream state. What makes you say, and obviously with visuals, we can't say that that's a dream. That's, you've really got those entities on camera. So
Yeah.
to dismiss the what we would call the medical side and go on to the paranormal side of this, what advice can you give people that have this, you know, experiences? And there are, you know, numerous thousands around the world, and quite a lot on YouTube today as well. But for those that are having those paranormal experiences, how do you make someone who's very worried and nervous and frightened about those experiences come to that light and tiggle feeling that you feel even in this later life of yourself, who's just come back into contact with it?
Yes, I think that it is very important when people have this experience that they, when they feel that somebody is sitting on their chest, or that some creature is trying to come in them, is immediately ask God, you know, please God, take it over. I don't like this. Please Jesus, help me. Please give me protection. And I believe that you get protection. When it is belong to you, when it is a good experience, then you will learn it's okay, it belongs to me. I meet also sometimes people that when I see them for the first time, I don't like them, but when I know them better, I like them well. You know, it's also in the spiritual world sometimes working in this way. But you have also in the sleep that your brain make sometimes a mistake, and that you can get an hallucination, and that you can have the feeling that somebody is sitting on your chest, or that you, it's not all the time paranormal, but there are serious paranormal cases. I was knowing a group of guys that was going on vacation. They was coming, they was living in my village, and the mother from this guy was telling me that her son was going with a couple of guys on vacation. They were sleeping in an old hotel or something. I was remembering me some old hotel or something, or some bed of breakfast. And three of the guys was having when they was wake up, they was having tell the same experience, that they was feel that somebody was sitting on the chest and they cannot move more. And there was you know, turn white in the face when they was tell this to each other. I say, yes, I was having also this experience, you also. And there was all three, they was having this experience. And then you can say it's not a hallucination. Then it was something, you know, external that was going on there. And I know you must also watch out. You have also demons, you know, you have demons, you have people living here. They mean sometimes they will hurt other people or animals, but you have also in the spirit world, you have also some astral criminals, but they think that they are powerful, but they are not powerful. When you ask God for protection, they were lost. It's a nature law. And when you believe in the anxiety, they get more power. And they get more power. They feed themselves, demons feed themselves with the anxiety from people. And they like that it is building and building and building to the moment that they commit suicide, or that they start to be psychotic and go to the psychiatric hospital. But when you don't believe in it and you focus on God, it is simple again. And you are free. And I really believe that. I feel that. And it's not a romantic fairy tale. It is a nature law. Absolutely.
Okay, Robert. Well, thank you for explaining those things to us. I just want to change to another story that you had on last week, which was about, you felt there could be a possible attack on the Westminster Houses of Parliament here in England.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you came about that sort of thought or information, and then what you think your thoughts are today where these events didn't happen? And not to say it didn't happen, no, but to say that maybe you're able to stop an event happening for putting out good conscious energy rather than letting fear and worry take over, to make a good impression, to give thanks and, you know, the grace of God to each of our members of Parliament, that their acts and their decisions are in love and light, you know?
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, what happened there, Robert? Because you know, I live about 4 miles from the House of Parliament.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it's I'm not very I've not a very big interest in politics and in that sort of things. It's not my job. I have other things to do. But I love humans. I love animals, and I know that when I feel something, I can only say to people, please pray for it or send light to it. And I feel very strong that, and I still feel that some persons or some person have the plan to maybe hurt the building or hurt people that have a function in the building, and maybe there are political motives behind it. But I feel it so strong in the same way how I feel sometimes that the crop circle will happening, and I feel it as a crime when I shut my mouth and say nothing. You know, I feel that I have the responsibility to say this to people, that we can all take, you know, get an eye on this building and send all the love that we have, all the protection, ask God for protection for all the people that work there, and try to give a positive leadership to England, and to make that everybody is safe. It's a very big job, you know, but it's also, they're living also in a house from glass, and it have also weak parts, you know. The army will protect and everything, but it's difficult. It's really difficult. There are lots of crazy people. They will hurt people, you know. This I thank all the people that have sent all the love and all the light to it. And I will ask again, when people watching to this live streaming, please send all your love and light. And ask all the angels, also Angel Michael and Jesus, ask them for protection for the Palace of Westminster and the Big Ben, and all the people that work there, that they get protection. You know, we're living in very difficult times, you know. Terrorism.
Also, Robert, I see so many movies these days that, you know, blowing London up, blowing up Big Ben, and, you know, a lot of big movies, a lot of money spent in trying to perpetrate this image to the masses, you know.
Exactly. I really remember. Don't like it. I really don't like it. It's okay for me that some filmmakers make sensational films, but this sort of image give people some ideas that it will manifestate serious. It's dangerous. I really don't like it. But yeah.
I remember we had the Olympics here a couple of years ago, and there was a lot of underlying, there's going to be trouble in London, there's going to be bombs and this and this. And so a group of us and lots of others, I suppose, online, there were videos being put out in the opposite sense, which was saying, look, these big eyes, you know, they had every light had an eye around it. So it was like a pyramid with the eye, and we were seeing the eye around this sort of stadium. And so there was a lot of negative energy saying this is New World Order, this is dark stuff. But for a lot of us, we were putting out negative energy, positive energy, in the sense of bringing love and harmony and light and good wishes to those who attend, and to make, you know, the area safe and nice in thought, to project that energy. And I think that did stop probably an attack that was going to go on there, because there was quite a lot of talk about it, you know, in all channels, and nothing happened in the end. So again, I'm really grateful to those who did put their love and light out and energy.
Yes, that gives lots of hope. This story, you know, that you see that when the collective consciousness sent a lot of positive vibes to it, that it can change. You know, this I feel this threat, but it will not say that it will happening seriously. You know, I feel these ideas, I feel the plans, but when people the only weapon to stop this sort of people is give them this soft little pussycat love. It sounds strange, but this little baby love from God, that they still love themselves, that they will not do this horrible black energy, this absolutely negative energy. They destroy the life from other people's, but they will also destroy the life from themselves. It's when people do this, they really don't love themselves. Also, it's not. But I hope that I was feeling only the plan, and that they change the mind, and that they will not do this. I really hope with my whole heart. I will still ask people, send all your love to it, and visualize the Palace of Westminster in the light and in protection, and in that they can do the positive leadership, and that we can be a big family from each other, and that this planet can get a future. And it's not only for Europe, or it's for the whole world, for the whole planet.
Thank you, Robert. And another strange anomaly that was appearing on your camera was Sai Baba from India, who was very famous around the world as
yes.
You know, he died a couple of years ago. There was a lot of turmoil or sort of bad mouthing him, saying he was a pervert and all of these negative things. But those who really did, you know, open up to love and light, realised that this gentleman was the real deal. Some compare him to almost Jesus in a sense of, you know, he's attributes to life and to people's well-being. What's your take on that? Because obviously he came on to your house and he's showing you, you know, from these photographs that you've taken, that he's well, and that he's smiling, and that he's still sending love and light. He's very famous for the Gayatri mantra, which is a mantra that's in Hindu, I believe, or Sanskrit, or whatever the language is. But it's a language of a lesson of the morning, and inviting the love and the light and the sunshine and the day and all of the good things into one's being, and to make a nice prayer for the world, in a sense. But, you know, these mantras are famous all around the world. You know, what's your thoughts on that, Robert? Because I do listen to the Gayatri mantra every once in a while. I've got a good friend sing at Biggin Hill, and he's always inviting me to listen to these mantras. And if I'm driving or got a quiet time, take them in. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, it's wonderful. His mantras are beautiful. You feel the sunshine is coming through it. You feel the life energy, the chi from God. You feel this very strong energy. I feel a very strong connection with Satya Sai Baba. From the first moment that I will see a video from him, I will feel that he is honest, that he is that he have a very warm, quiet, almost childish, positive, but also very big wisdom energy, and a little bit in his own world. You know, when you see him and walking, and sometimes he was talking a little bit in himself, and he was in a sort of very quiet state, and when you see him, you know it's okay. And he was a sort of living holy person on this world, a serious disciple. He was more than a disciple. He was almost a sort of physical living God on this earth. And you know what it is when some people starting to be really famous or well known. You have also the negative energy, or what people call sometimes Satan, or the darkness, and they will make up the most horrible stories about you. They will say the most horrible things. They will say the most horrible things about Satya Sai Baba, that he was a liar, that he was used cheap magic tricks, that he was a pervert, that he was misused children, the most horrible things. And that's only to stop the light, to stop his popularity. and it was absolutely not true. Maybe the man was having some gay feelings. I don't know. Maybe he was. I think maybe he was both. You know, when you are in this God consciousness, you love humans, and you love. Maybe you can love both sides. You know, man and a woman. But I absolutely don't believe that he was a pedophile. That's the most dirty and terrible thing that people can say about you. And they will say it about him, I think, to discredit him, to stop him, to that people will hate him, you know, really hate him. And it's very sad. And such as Sai Baba was love animals, he was love humans, he was a living God on this planet. And he was very famous, but he was also very sober. He was very sober. He was living very sober. He was sitting, of course, on a golden chair and that sort of things. People will give him that, but he was not asked for it. He was living sober, and he was walking on his naked feet and take all these letters from people. They was giving him letters and letters, and then and he was give the vibuti, you know, or he was, you know, materialized a beautiful necklace. When you watch his videos critical and you watch very close, you see that it's not trickery, it's real, and his energy is very special. And yes, that's very special. But now I think 2 weeks ago I was feel his presence very strong around me. And I was feel support for the humans and for me, and that I must stay in trust and not give up. Stay fighting for the light and for do something good for this world and not give up. You know, not starting to suck in pessimistic depression. And I was feel that I must make pictures, and I must make lots of pictures. And it's amazing. You see very clear, a smiling Sai Baba, very happy, with sometimes a sort of rainbow color over his face, very beautiful. And I was feel myself very quiet in my whole room. It was feel, the energy that I was feel was serious, the afterlife. You not think more, your brain is not active more, you are in a sort of Zen state. And
it's lovely. You know, I'm just sharing the pictures now on the Facebook of Sai Baba, and I'm comparing them with, you know, other videos of Sai Baba. It's certainly the same image of the gentleman, you know. And like you say, you know, he seems very happy. He's glad to come and visit. You know, I've been fortunate to be with you on several occasions where you've had these entities come live on cameras. Yes. And so for me, when they do turn up, it is a privilege. And to know that Sai Baba's coming through, I found it a personal message myself, you know.
Yes.
That the spirit is true, it's everlasting, nothing dies, things continue, you know.
I'm sure that he loves you very much, you know. You talk all the time very respectful about him. You don't believe the lies that they tell about him through the mainstream media, and you know, and that's very good, you know. I'm very happy that many people, millions of people, still believe in Sai Baba and feel his love, feel his energy, meditate on him, and I'm really very happy. This Sai Baba was also making it happening, was also helping to give India, the whole society in India, clean drink water. He was built lots of hospitals. He was do lots of good things. And the skeptics and the debunkers, you don't hear them about it. Was they organizing that the whole India was get clean drink water? Was they create hospitals? Was they wake up people from the dead? Was they do miracles? No, they can only say that he was a cheater and that he was a dirty person. It's it's evil. Don't listen to it. I will say to people, don't pay attention. And all this fake proves that he is a liar. And, you know, it's terrible. I experienced it also in my life in a more little way, but also in the spiritual work field where I'm in working. I experience skeptics tell the most stupid nonsense about you, and it's absolutely not true. And how many times I also prove that they are not right, that they are wrong, they still say it. It's almost funny. It's the same. I don't pay attention more to the skeptics, and I have so many times proved that it is real. And when the skeptics then still say that I'm a charlatan and they have not met me, then I can also try to tell a rabbit how Vincent van Gogh was, or how Rembrandt, the painter Rembrandt was. A rabbit will not understand that. Of course not, you know. And also the real debunkers, you know, they are spin doctors. They make things up, and they get paid also sometimes from the government to say this sort of things. There are more powerful things going on than people think to stop the lies.
Yeah. Well, Robert, again, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us tonight here on Dr. J Radio Live and the Johny Webb Show. But I'll take that back. Dr. J Radio Live, I'm so used to saying it, see. But anyway, to John, God bless you. I hope your show is still doing very well. And thank you for giving me and Robert the chance to come on there and talk about it initially, because this is where we are today through you. Thank you very much. But again, so Robert, I'd like to say thanks for joining us. Anyone else listening, you're watching the Johny Webb Show with Robbert Van Den Broeke. We've been talking about shadow people, almost governments. I wouldn't say shadow governments, but British governments, because Robert had premonition before, but we've all managed to put positive thoughts towards that and change an event. And obviously he's had Sai Baba, famous guru from India that's appeared in his photos. And so we've just been discussing that. So again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. And Robert, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. This is the Johny Webb Show.
Thank you.
And we're signing off. Robert, do you want to tell everyone where we can get hold of you? Where can people find you these days?
They can find me on my website, but that's I must think that is www.robbertvandenbroeke.com and Robert with 2 B's. And you can find me on Facebook. When you type on Google Robbert Van Den Broeke Facebook, you will find me, Robbert Van Den Broeke Medium Facebook. And you can send a friend request, but I have also a global Facebook where everybody can visit on. And you can write me also an email through my website also. And on YouTube also, I'm active on YouTube. I make sometimes every week or around 2 weeks, I make a YouTube clip where I keep people informed about the things that are going on around me.
Lovely. Well, again, thank you for joining us, Robert. I hope your guests have found it an interesting show. Reach out to Robbert Van Den Broeke. He's open to anyone's questions or information, or if you want to reach out to him, he's a very forward guy. He holds back nothing, and he's willing to talk to anyone. I do wish to say that I wish some people that would do tests on his work come forward. We haven't had anybody want to investigate Robert, and I'm very surprised. I know it takes some money for some people to go travelling abroad to meet him, but I think it would be money well worth spent. So from me, Johny Webb, and from Robbert Van Den Broeke, I'd like to say good evening to you all. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.